Right, thank you very much for both being here. So, Helen, why did you choose Chris as the coach to feature alongside you for this exhibition?
Oh, it was asked my first coach, really. That was what came to me firstly in the email, and the first person I thought of was Chris, because I was swimming with his daughter at the time in a swimming club, and Chris was Welsh triathlon coach, needed some athletes for a race, and kind of picked me and a few others to give it a go. And so he guided me through my first few years of triathlon. I've had a few coaches since then. I'm currently coached by my husband Mark, but yeah, Chris was the guy who started me, and I wouldn't have been doing it if it wasn't for Chris taking me out of Llangollen pool when I was 15.
So how big an impact has Chris had on your triathlon career?
Yeah, but it just wouldn't have happened, I don't think, if Chris hadn't have encouraged me to start in the first place. He took us away on my first few races, and some of them were good, some of them were bad, but those early experiences made me, decide to try and become a triathlete.
So, what are Chris's greatest qualities as a coach?
Enthusiasm, I think. I think I've never met anyone so positive through every situation. Cold, hot, long, hard sessions. I think that's what you need when you're an athlete, and sometimes you're not the most motivated. We do so many sessions in triathlon, it can get quite hard, to motivate yourself. But if you're going to turn up to a session and your coach is going to be there and wants to be there and is not going to turn up or something, then Chris's enthusiasm was probably the best in any coach I've ever known.
Brilliant. Are there any specific standout moments that you can remember of when he truly inspired you, or he said those inspiring words which meant that you put in that extra 10%?
I think it's probably taken us to our first race, and we were all hopeless. Like we'd never done a triathlon before. One of the guys rode with a broken bike, I think, and I remember just Chris telling us just to go for it just before the start, and it was a pool swim, so not in the open water like most of our races, but I think we were all pretty inspired just to give it a go from there.
Brilliant. So you said you've had quite a few coaches, obviously starting off with Chris. Do you think you'll be a coach in the future? Is that something you're interested in doing?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm really inspired when I see the younger athletes out there training at the moment. It doesn't really seem like it's going to be the next step, well, not a step that's coming soon. But I think I'd like to help some of the athletes that are out there, especially the younger ones, because that's what happened to me. I got chosen at the right age, and I was kind of finishing swimming. I didn't really have a direction. I think that happens, especially in triathlon. That can really happen. A lot of talented people don't even know triathlon's out there, so just to get them doing triathlon would be great.
And Chris, do you think she'd be a good coach?
Yeah, I think she's got an awful lot to offer. Determination, willpower. I think she loves the sport like I love the sport, like her husband Mark loves the sport. It's a great sport for anybody, and at the time Helen was 15, 16. I guess I wouldn't say becoming disillusioned with swimming, but I think was looking for a greater challenge out there. I was just fortunate at the time. I had a remit to sort of look after sort of the youth and the juniors, and I'd set up a trial race for a number of youths and juniors throughout the country, and Helen came along, and it all went from there. She had a very strong swim. Cycling was a little bit raw, to say the least, and running was a little bit raw, but the huge potential was evident from day one.
Yeah, I think we went down to Bridgend Industrial Estate, and we were said ride round a couple of times, get off and run, and it was the first few past the line, wasn't it?
That was your training for your first triathlon, was it Bridgend Industrial Estate?
I think so.
They were very heady days, and although triathlon was sort of out and about there, it wasn't thought of as an Olympic sport at the time. There was an invite coming from the Irish community to sort of invite sort of young athletes from Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Belgium, France to go to a race over there, and I quickly had to sort of gather a team together. Although I'd sent invites as national coach out to sort of all the local clubs, and they had a trial that formed in it, I had a little bit more of a connection with Bridgend, where Helen was swimming at that time, and it just led from there. We had about 5 or 6 boys and girls who came to that event and went on with the team, and did fantastically well.
One for both of you. What are the qualities that you think make a good coach?
Helen touched upon it earlier on, enthusiasm. She mentioned getting out in all sorts of weathers. I'm still getting out there in all sorts of weathers and getting a right old soak in. Whenever I sort of leave that session or attend their session at the start, I think, oh, why am I here? Whenever I finish it, I leave with a smile on my face. I've met friends. The camaraderie is brilliant. There's nothing that can actually, give you that. Money certainly can't pay for that. It's well worth it. Friendships, seeing people like Helen, and even a novice athlete perhaps getting around a triathlon for the first time gives a massive buzz. When they come back up to you and say, Chris, I've got round, I've done whatever the time might be, it's fantastic. Helen is the icing on the top of the cake as far as that goes.
I think, like you need good enthusiasm for a coach. You need someone that can help you in the end achieve your goals. That's what it comes down to. And then so you want to have a connection with that person and be able to deal with them day to day and work towards the same goal. I think the coach has to want it as much as the athlete, and the athlete as much as the coach. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So that's really important. Just the communication side of things.
So why should people, if they want to, obviously get involved in coaching and volunteering? What benefits does it have to individuals to get involved?
I think it makes you become part of the community. I think it gets you involved with people of a similar sort of nature. You can enthuse them by sort of looking, there's various ways of looking at this. One, you're going to get fitter, you're going to stay healthier, you're going to live longer, all the health messages with it. But more than anything, it gives you a challenge. It can give you a purpose as well. And to be out there and get out there and do it, certainly like a sport like triathlon, is an adventure just to do it. And I just wanted sort of other athletes to sort of enjoy that adventure that I've experienced, and hopefully I think Helen still is.
Yeah, I think you can get a lot of satisfaction out of working with someone and them achieving their goals. Just being part of that and helping someone, that is pretty important.
Great. Last one. This is one to tick the box. What do you think about the Sports Council's campaign to try to raise the profile of coaching and volunteering and get more people involved? Do you think it's a good thing, beneficial?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there must be thousands of volunteers out there in all sorts of sports, out there, rain, sunshine, snow, whatever, and these guys are unpaid. They're doing it because they love their sports. I'm certainly doing it because I love my sport. I want to promote my sport, and I'd love other people to sort of get out there and enjoy the challenges of it. But it's a fantastic, thing that the Sports Council are actually recognising the sort of the good work that volunteers are doing up and down the the breadth of the country.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the elite end, then you want gold medal winning performances, and that needs to start with coach education, and that starts with supporting the coaches that are out there and encouraging more coaches. But it's not just about that gold medal, it's about the people who don't make it, but the people who just enjoy participating, and you still need those coaches for those people. You want to get as many people doing sports, and so it's about both ends of it there, and you need coaches for all of that. So it's important to get them, made to feel like they're needed and feel like they've got some input into what's happening in sport in Wales.
I mean, if I can just add to that and just say that, watching Helen and her progression over the years has been fantastic, and I am massively proud of what she's achieved. Follow her everywhere on the internet these days, but it is also nice just to see, a novice athlete having a go and getting around, and that gives you just as much satisfaction. When they come up and just say, well done, for a coach, that is wonderful. You haven't got to be paid money, but it's a massive satisfaction to be told, thank you for your help.